We will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us.
Donald Trump, Mr. Art of the Steel, has managed to secure one of the worst trade deals with the EU that we have had in decades. Because any deal in which there are any amount of tariffs on EU-made products means more taxes to be paid by us. And today, the oaf in office not only secured a horrendous 15% tariff on most EU products, but he also took the opportunity to lash out at his arch nemesis, windmills, and made one of the strangest claims of his second term so far. Check it out.
And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains, and I'm not talking about airplanes, I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States, and you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, you can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers, you know, the props, because there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go well with the land. That's what they say. The environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. In other words, if you bury it, it will harm our soil. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. And in all fairness, Germany tried it, and wind doesn't work. You need subsidy for wind, and energy should not need subsidy. With energy, you make money. You don't lose money. But more important than that is it ruins the landscape. It kills the birds. They're noisy. You know, you have a certain place in the Massachusetts area that over the last 20 years had 1 or 2 whales wash ashore. And over the last short period of time, they had 18. Okay? Because it's driving them loco. It's driving them crazy. Now, windmills will not come. It's not going to happen in the United States. And it's very expensive, and I would love to see. I mean, today I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry. Even though I own it, it's probably the best course in the world, right? And I look over the horizon, and I see 9 windmills. It's like right at the end of the 18th. I said, isn't that a shame? What a shame. You have the same thing all over Europe in particular. You have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibit it, but people ought to know that these windmills are very destructive. They're environmentally unsound, just the exact opposite. Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists. They're political hacks. These are people that they almost want to harm the country. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the world. Many countries have gotten smart. They will not allow it. They will not. It's the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy. But windmills should not be allowed. Okay.
You're probably thinking right now, what the fuck is this orange buffoon talking about? Well, for almost a decade, there have been ongoing mass death events for whales in oceans across the world, but especially up and down the East Coast. These unusual mortality events, as they're called by scientists, have been subject to the right wing's almost pathological need to create conspiracies, in which they have blamed wind farms off the East Coast for these deaths.
Washed up. This scene in Westport, it is just one of several we've been seeing locally. In fact, we've learned that the dead whale count is up. But what does that mean? Tonight Team's Erin Coogan reporting tonight from Westport.
A decaying young humpback whale in Westport.
It's been an ongoing trend, unfortunately, that isn't slowing down.
Here in southern New England, organizations including the Whale and Dolphin Conservation and Mystic Aquarium work year-round to track and analyze whale deaths.
It makes me sick to my stomach.
The string of deaths began in Plymouth, the young humpback whale, on December 9th. 6 days later, another humpback discovered in Brewster. Then a dead minke whale in Charleston, Rhode Island. On December 26th, another dead humpback in Marshfield, all leading to today, a 25-foot juvenile humpback found dead along Richmond Pond Beach in Westport. And the deaths lead to a familiar debate.
What they never say is maybe it's connected with all of the industrialization, the construction from offshore wind that's going on right off of our shore. They never say that.
The first large-scale wind farm on U.S. waters began producing power off the east end of Long Island last March. But some conservationists say there's not enough data to link the offshore turbine construction to the recent increase in whale deaths.
People are looking at correlation data. So as wind farms started to develop and they started becoming aware of these strandings, that was associated a correlation to it. And, I think that can be dangerous for lots of reasons. Correlation and causation are two very different things.
Exactly. There's a difference between causation and correlation. And specifically in southern Massachusetts, which Trump just mentioned, 2024 saw a record amount of marine animal strandings, 11 large whales and hundreds of dolphins. The International Fund for Animal Welfare responded to over 600 strandings. That's more than double the annual average. But while the wind strandings are driving speculation about the impact of offshore wind development on these species, NOAA and the IFAW scientists and many other fisheries researchers say that there is no known links between offshore wind activity and whale deaths. They have found evidence of ship strikes, fishing gear entanglement, and disease on stranded dolphins and whales. Even according to NOAA, which has been subject to a litany of attacks from the Trump administration, there is no evidence that windmills are the cause of these events. Here's from the official government website for NOAA. Are whale strandings on the East Coast related to offshore wind development? They say at this point, there is no scientific evidence that noise resulting from offshore wind site characterization surveys could potentially cause whale deaths, meaning they aren't going loco, as Trump so Spanishly put it. There are no known links between large whale deaths and ongoing offshore wind activities. They even go on to say how wind farms are less offensive to marine mammals than oil and gas. The sound from these high-resolution geographical surveys, which are used in wind farms, are very different from the seismic air guns used in oil and gas surveys or tactical military sonar. They produce much smaller impact zones because, in general, they have lower noise, higher frequency, and narrower beam width. The area within which these sounds might disturb a marine mammal's behavior is orders of magnitude smaller than the impact areas for seismic air guns or military sonar. Any marine mammal exposed to sounds from these surveys would be at significantly lower levels and shorter duration, which is associated with less severe impacts to marine mammals. So what is related to these deaths? Well, wouldn't you know it, climate change. Is climate change a factor in the number of whales seen close to shore? This, again, is from the official NOAA government site. Yes, they say, our climate is changing, and one of those key changes is the warming of our oceans. In response, many marine species are adapting by moving into new areas where conditions are now more favorable. Changing distributions of prey impact larger marine species that depend on them, and result in changing distribution of whales and other marine life. This can lead to increased interactions with humans, as some whales move closer to nearshore habitats. So it's no wonder why Trump is pushing these conspiracies and going against NOAA, who is the target of Project 2025's plan to stop educating people about climate change and its effects. But the truth is, global rise in sea temperature is causing whales to migrate into shipping lanes and suffer more injuries, or their food sources are running low or being introduced to new diseases, again, due to changing sea temperature, which is causing all kinds of health issues. And that's obvious when you see that these unusual mortality events are happening for whales in places that have no wind farms, like in Baja California, where there have been 70 whale carcasses that have washed up on shore this year alone, and this was posted in April. The LA Times reports that at least 70 whales have perished since the start of this year in the shallow lagoons of Mexico's Baja California peninsula, where the animals gather to calf, nurse, and breed. 3 gray whales have died in San Francisco Bay recently due to their migration north, with one showing signs of malnutrition. The truth is, our dependency on fossil fuels is what is killing these whales, and in a sick twist of loaded garbage, Trump is blaming the very thing that would help save these whales, clean energy, for their demise, instead of his drill baby drill. I'm actually happy that somebody like RFK Jr. is Trump's go-to health guy now. Maybe we'll get lucky and Trump will get one of those brain worms, which will finally kill off the last few remaining brain cells he's got left. But until then, y'all know where to find the facts that Trump hates to hear right here at Really American. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.